Hello all, welcome to An Abundance of Books. My name is Julia and today we're doing my final book haul of the year. I know it doesn't look like it, but trust me, it's a book haul. Apologies if I sound sick, it's because I am. I've had this cold for like a week and a half and I just can't kick it, but books have got to be hauled. We got to do what we got to do. And we've got 16 things to talk about today, which I think is better than what I usually do. I was doing really well, but then a sale happened. You'll see. Let's just get into it. Let's start with the stack that I got when I went on a little day trip to an independent bookstore, which is generally when I lose all self-control because I'm supporting a small business. And it's also all the books that like I've thought about buying but sort of talked myself out of. I then talked myself into it. And the first book I did that with is Nettle and Bone by Kingfisher. This is something that has been getting rave reviews and just sounds like something I'm gonna love. And I know that this edition is beautiful because these are the end pages. And the cover has Bone Dog. I haven't read the book, but I'm already in love with Bone Dog. She's on a rescue mission and she has 3 tasks to complete: build a dog of bones, sew a cloak of nettles, and capture moonlight in a jar. No idea. Fantasy isn't my usual genre, but like this is a 5-star prediction. I've actually been holding off reading it in December because I want it to count toward my 2023 books, because that top 10 list is already pretty steep and this is going to be 5 stars. And then I picked up my best friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. I've only read one Grady Hendrix prior to this, which was the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, which was fine. Like, I get it, but it wasn't perfect for me. But this cover is just so stunning, especially in real life. The way that it's worn, the way that it has fake stickers that I don't mind. It looks dirty. Like, it's a gorgeous book. And I had to have it. And I don't really know what it's about other than my best friend getting an exorcism, which she needs. We all know that. And then I picked up this book because I've been wanting to try something from the author, and I think that this cover is just amazing. This is A Tale of Magic by Colfer. This is the most 80s looking cover I've ever seen. Like, it really leads into the old fantasy horror books. Like, it looks gorgeous, and there's little chapter illustrations for each chapter. We're gonna try to step into fantasy in 2023, and I think that a middle grade book like this could be a good option for me, even if it is almost 500 pages. And again, I know nothing, I just know this author and that he's written a ton of stuff, and this seemed like the prettiest cover to start with. I know that they're all a series, so I did check to make sure this is the first in whatever series it is. Oh, there's a map! The book just keeps on giving. This is what I say when I mean I go a little crazy in an independent bookstore. Like, I shouldn't have bought this, but I'm very happy I did. And then this last one, I didn't actually buy at the independent bookstore, but they had a copy and it was the wrong copy, and I had a whole conversation with the bookseller because he didn't know that this was a thing. Anyway, it's the Neverending story by Ende, which I've been looking for forever, but I needed to find one that has the red and green lettering. The copy that they had didn't have it, and so I asked the bookseller if they had one, and he had never heard of such a thing. Where when I read this when I was a kid, it was the only thing I could think about. So here you can see half the text is red and half the text is green. It's because it's a story about a kid reading a story, and to distinguish between the book within the book and the regular book, it's got red and green lettering, and that's so important to me. He confirmed that this was the right ISBN for it. So I went and picked it up, and I'm going to be reading this. Look at this. Look at this book. I love it. And for our next stack, we've got Just Because books, because I wanted them. First up, we have The Galaxy and the Ground Within by Becky Chambers. This is the 4th in the Wayfarer series. I have only read the first 2, but I own the 3rd, and I'm gonna get to it eventually. Everyone knows about the first one, which has a name, The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, and they all follow slightly different people or people related to people. I don't actually know who this one is about. Pei, Roveg, and Speaker. Ulu, I don't know. These are books that I don't have to know anything about. I just know I'm gonna love them. And then I picked up this beautiful edition of The Goblin Market by Christina Rossetti. This is a classic story that's referenced in everything. I showed it to my husband and he's like, is that the Goblin Market that they talk about in Hellboy? Because he loves Hellboy and didn't know this was a thing. But it's this gorgeous illustrated version. It's actually quite a short story, but every page has huge illustrations on it. And it looks like a good portion of it is an introduction, which is pretty common in classic stories like this. But I'm really excited to get to it and it's so beautiful. I also just love this hardcover without a dust jacket, whatever the word is for that. They should make more books like this. Then we have Barbarian Mine by Ruby Dixon. This is the 4th in the Ice Planet Barbarian series. I own the 3rd one already but haven't read it. I've read the first 2. Very similar to what we just talked about. But I love these illustrated covers, and as long as they keep printing them, I'm gonna keep buying them. And then we're left with a couple of books that I've already read. 3 Kisses, 1 Midnight by Roshani Chokshi, Evelyn, Skye, and Sandhya Menon. I did a whole dedicated video talking about this. It's a lovely Halloween-y read. I also did the audiobook, which I would highly recommend. And it's just a YA about these 3 friends trying to get kissed before midnight on Halloween, and I loved every second of it. And this is under the dust jacket and I love it. I love how easily this cover conveys what you're going for. Like 3 Kisses, 1 Midnight, you know you're following a series of love stories. You got some fall leaves here, you got some potion because there's some magical stuff about. I love this book. Then we have Climbing into Cornfield by Cesare. I read this not for a video, just because I wanted to, because I'm obsessed with this cover, and the book inside did not disappoint. It's definitely a different tone than I was expecting, but this is one of the most brutal YAs I've ever read, and it was great. This is about a girl who moves to a new small town and spooky stuff is happening, and then gets invited to a party that's in a barn in a cornfield, and the clowns are out for murderousness. Then we have Comfort Me with Apples by Catherynne and Valente, one that I did on audio and then immediately went out and purchased a physical copy myself. It's itty bitty and it's kind of a perfect book. There's absolutely no way to talk about this book without giving spoilers, but if you're interested in short horror that has something to say and is still horrifying, highly recommend. And then this final stack are all books that I bought at Indigo's Black Friday sale. Let's start with the ones that I read prior to purchasing. We have Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Cochrun, a sapphic Christmas book. I had an arc of this and I thought it was fine, but I think the cover is stunning and I really like the author generally, so I wanted to support her. This is also a book of the month pick now though, so maybe she didn't need my support. Then we have Mistakes Were Made by Meryl Wilsner, another book that I had an arc of and I really enjoyed this. This is another sapphic book between a girl and her best friend's mom. I would say the book part of it is lacking, like the novel part of it, but the romance stuff in here I really enjoyed. And then Just Haven't Met You Yet by Sophie Cousens. I absolutely love this book, another one I did on audio originally, and it's about this woman who is a travel blogger who has a article where she's going back to the place where her parents met and is uncovering small town secrets, meeting a cute boy maybe. It's such a good combination of like family stuff and travel stuff and romance stuff. I thought it was so funny and like heartbreaking at points. I cried in this book. It's been a minute since I've read it, but I just want to push it on to everybody, which is also part of the reason why I buy physical copies of stuff, to be like, yes, you, person in my home, take this. And then a book that I finished like 2 days ago. So this is Christmas by Chetting Holiday. This is just because I wanted something Christmassy to read and I enjoyed picking up a book every once in a while that I know nothing about. This was unfortunately like fine. I really enjoyed the writing, but I didn't necessarily enjoy the couple, but there's some great Christmassy stuff in here. And also this is the 3rd in a series. You definitely don't need to read all of them, but it did feel like there was a little something missing. But I really enjoyed Jenny Holiday's writing, so I'm going to try something else that she has. And then I picked up Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This is one that I probably didn't need to, but because everyone is loving this so much, I'm going to push it on my husband, and he's quite a slow reader, so he needs a physical copy of stuff. Know nothing. Orc coffee shop mouse assistant? We will do a buddy read of it sometime in the future. We do that sometimes and it's pretty precious when we read the same physical book. He reads it at night and I read it during the day. We're very precious. And then the final book that we have to talk about this year, this haul, I'm hoping it's going to be the last book that I read this year. I'm planning on it. It is The Rewind by Alison Wynne Scotch, because this is a New Year's Eve romance? I think it's a romance, but I'm not really sure. It's got some sort of like time loop element to it, and I just think this would be fun to read a New Year's thing as the last book that I read. Time management might not be on my side. I'm a very inconsistent reader, but I'm gonna do my best. Tagline tonight, they'll fall in love like it's 1999. Apparently we'll get some good 90s references in here. I'm down for it. So there you go. Those are all of the books that I purchased in the last 3 months. I feel like this is pretty good for me. There's a lot of room to spare. Sometimes the shelf is full, but we did pretty well this time. A lot of books that I've read, a lot of books that are just part of series that I want to continue, and everything else I'm like jonesing to read. I could pick up any single one of these books right now and be happy, which is exactly what I want from my book collection. Alright, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you very soon with another one. Happy holidays, happy New Year's. There'll be another video before the end of the year, obviously. I don't know what it is. Hopefully I will not be sick in the next one. Okay, thank you so much. Goodbye.